I was about to use some of those words with my coaching, with my coachees. I go, oh, wait a minute.
I will remind me, and I'll put either the link in the chat, or what I'll do after we're done is I'll put it into the to Blackboard. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. If you're not with us tonight, this is just a really informal session, and I'm going to answer questions about any of the homework assignments that we've done or are going to do, but I really want to focus in on the customer journey map because every single class has struggled with this, yet it's a really valuable tool. It's been designed by one of the leading digital marketing companies in the United States, and it was highly recommended by one of the Syracuse professors. And then I want to talk about the economic model homework, because these two assignments really make up the majority of the feasibility analysis. Okay, so what we're doing now is taking everything that you've done in your research for your market segments, and we're going to put it all together in these two assignments. All right. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen really quick, and let's go through a few things. You know what I forgot to do is put up the customer journey map. Okay, give me 1 second. But while I'm doing that, here's a really good example of a customer journey map. All right, and this is really what you are striving for. And the only way to do this is to find an example. So we're going to do that for the ones who are here, just so you can see the process for it. And then as you find all the resources that you need, you'll be able to actually fill in the actual customer journey map. So give me 1 second. That was the one thing I forgot to bring up. Let me just go to Blackboard and download it. Hopefully I can get in there. Okay. While you all are waiting on me, go ahead and okay. I was just going to ask what parts of the homework assignments you have questions on, and Kelly said 5 and 6. So we're gonna talk about both of those. Let me just go to Blackboard really quick because I want to bring up that map. And you don't, if it's not too late to turn it in, if you haven't done it, if you want to redo it and send it to me for feedback, that's fine too. I am not a professional marketer, but there are plenty of your IVMF classmates who are, okay? And I can refer you to the ones that I do know, and they, because you're not going to want to do your own marketing. After you really start getting some traction, you're going to want to pass off as many of your hats as possible because there is no physical way you can get everything done. Okay. Give me 1 more second so I can download this customer journey map. Okay. Are there any other questions, issues with the course, things that you'd like help with? I know this is what everybody is struggling with. Okay. We're not going to spend too much time on the actual map because there's so many other good options out there too. This one's pretty advanced. And there's just one more thing I need to pull up. Okay.
Do the other one.
All right, so let's start with this map. Again, when you're doing this first part, this really should be written from the customer's perspective. So you're going to do this in first person. I'm going to backtrack. What you want to do before you start is use the different search engines to, one, find examples of customer personas. And for those of you who've already turned this in, I mean, what you've seen me do is just give you links to examples of different personas for your industry. Some are easier to find than others. Like Nicola's has been really difficult to find, but she's a grant writer. So what I should probably do is write customer persona for nonprofits. Okay, and let's see what comes up. because when you understand what exactly their pain points are, what they're looking for, then it makes it easier to design your marketing. And there's certain words that they will always key into these different search engines here. What I'm using is Google, but you do definitely want to use as many of the other search engines as possible, because you just don't know what people are using. So, all right, here's one.
So confused.
And I haven't looked at this. To be honest, I've been looking for like 3 days to find the right examples for her industry. If you notice that it takes me a long time to get your homework back, it's probably because you have a super niche market and there's not a lot of information, or it's just hard to find. Okay. So for those of you who are running nonprofits, I'm going to give her a shout out, Nicola. You can't see her right now, but she is your classmate and she does help write grants. This one doesn't really have any good examples, but this is the way you would do it, okay? So just use the different search engines. This one's Google. If you type in a different search engine, there aren't really any other good ones. I'm just gonna put Yahoo, and then you can do the same thing. So if this will bring up Yahoo, this all changed from a long time ago. Here it is. Here's their search engine, and you can see what it brings up in terms of information, because they all have different algorithms. I'm going to go back to Google just because it's easier to use, and it brings up probably the most often used things. Before I do that, let me just use Google Scholar. So this is another search engine that most people don't know about. So Google Scholar gives you access to peer-reviewed articles. So let me see if there are any examples here for customer persona for nonprofits. Okay. We might get lucky, we might not, but if you're writing a grant and you need those peer-reviewed articles, you might find them here. Okay. So this one's a challenge, but anyway, we'll keep looking. All right. Just make sure you're writing out your questions for me, or turn on your mics. I just want to make sure that, okay.
I think all this homework has been very difficult for me.
It's okay. You know what? This course is,
So,
and that's perfectly fine. Because of the pandemic, everything, the EBV program ended up having to be changed to an online format. And so this was redesigned. Unfortunately, some of the stuff that we normally do in that course, there's usually somebody standing over your shoulder, because that's a residency program. But
right.
sometimes,
I think,
yeah, go ahead.
I think having such a niche market as grant writer or economic developer, like I work with very specific clients. So that's why doing the customer journey map, I was lost, because it's either a nonprofit,
Lola, come on.
a municipality,
Lola.
or like a business owner. So it was hard for me to really figure out how to map that.
Okay. And that's perfectly understandable. So let's do this one instead. Gosh. We always get a lot of students in the nonprofit space. It's always kind of a challenge to be able to answer their questions. So let's just talk about, yeah. You're mostly in that, the community development, economic development niche, but you could write a grant for almost any organization if you knew the requirements. Okay.
Yep.
That makes it a lot easier.
Okay.
Okay. Before I even get to this slide, let's go back, because a lot of what you want to do, some of it's already developed out there. And I just recommend using those examples instead. Where was the one? Okay, we've got 2 of you in the laundry industry. I like this because it's already mapped out. This is just so much easier. Research companies will spend a lot of money paying people to answer these questions so that they can map it out. All right. Just because it is so expensive to develop a product or service without this kind of information. Kelly, just remind me later, and I'm going to email you a bunch of stuff because there's 2 of you in this industry, and I've already answered her questions, and there's a bunch of links I need to send you. So give me, and let's find an example, Nicola, of a different type of nonprofit. Actually, we could use Kelly's with seniors. I'm going to unmute you. Okay, this is not working. Can you unmute yourself?
Did you want me to unmute it?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, we need a customer persona for Nicola of a nonprofit, and you are doing something for like seniors with your laundry care.
Okay.
Um,
So how do you mean a persona? I don't know what it would be under. So like a nonprofit for seniors?
no, I'm trying to think of we need an example of a persona for seniors and some of their daily activities.
Well, we do Meals on Wheels.
I might have to keep looking,
Because we do
Nicola.
like Meals on Wheels.
Yeah.
Food, we have food bank forum, Meals on Wheels, stuff like that. I don't know.
I'm just going to switch.
What about like a Big Brothers or Big Sisters? Like that's a nonprofit. Would that work?
Yeah. Yes. How about volunteers? Maybe that would be okay.
Do you want me to mute back?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead, Kelly. I guess unless you're speaking. Who else do we have on here? We have Lola. I'm trying to think of the different industries. Nicola, I'm going to have to get back to you because you're under the professional services one, and that one is always a challenge. Customer persona, let's try business to business owner. Okay, here we go. You never know what you're going to get with these. Okay. This is not as valuable. Some of these guides, you have to give away your email address. Okay, and then they'll keep emailing you basically to try and get an appointment with you. But sometimes you will get something valuable out of that. All right. We're just gonna keep going with this. Nicola, I'm gonna have to get back with you and see if I can find something specific.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and go back to the, here we go. So the customer journey map. If you can at least in this portion of it, do as much as you can using these different examples, writing this out in first person, that'll answer those questions. Okay, this is how they find you. This is what you're trying to figure out here. If you haven't launched your business, this is your current state. Don't fill in the future state because you're still trying to develop this part here. The best way to do this is to find examples from other business plans. Okay, I touched on this briefly before, but Business Live Plan has sample business plans. It's all the same company. It's all Palo Alto. And they also own M Plans, which is marketing plans. And then that'll give you some really good examples of the different types of market segments, how many there are, how to market to them. Yes, Nicole.
Sandra, is this similar to a market analysis, like your customer analysis and your marketing plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably not as much demographic wise. It's really more of a touchy-feely thing, so you know exactly where to find them. And if you had a chance to watch Elizabeth Weimer's presentation,
Yes.
Everything has switched now to behavior based versus demographics. And you're in that B2B space. So
Yep.
you're more in the demographic space.
Yeah.
So I think for you, and this has been a struggle for me and some of the students that I've worked with, is where to find the grants.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. If you, I know you know where they are probably for the economic development part, but there's like all sorts of other nonprofits out there.
There is. Yep.
And so these are some of the ways that some of our students have been able to raise a lot of money. One of them, she does dance offs or dance marathons. She is retired military, and her way of dealing with TBI or PTS was through ballroom dancing. So she raises a lot of money to provide free dance lessons for other injured veterans through Arthur Murray Studios. They do these dance marathons, and all the proceeds go to fund lessons for these veterans. Okay, so these are examples of different fundraisers that that people can do. Okay, that organizations can do. But and I know a lot of people want separate nonprofit classes, but at the end of the day, it's all about running a business. Okay, so as long as you have some way to be able to fund your nonprofit, whether it's revenue generating activities or these other forms such as grants and donations, that's what's going to keep you in business. But the grant part is where a lot of people struggle with, and that's something that I've only found a few resources for this, like Blackbot. Okay, so I think for you, Nicola, as you develop your marketing plan, is just to know what types of nonprofits besides the economic development, which ones you can start targeting. And since it's a familiar niche for you, veterans.
Well, I seem to actually, like right now, I just took on, I think, 3 nonprofits.
Oh, wow.
And I actually talked to an agency that all they deal with is nonprofits. So now I'm getting into that nonprofit realm because there's the Foundation Center.
Okay.
That actually it's a great resource for nonprofits, economic development, for-profit businesses. So that's a resource.
Okay, very good. As long as you know where you can find them.
Mm-hmm.
And
yep.
for most of you who are in that consulting space, it's going to be through those conferences or probably through the closed Facebook and LinkedIn communities.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you can develop your customer journey map from there. Okay, all right, good. Okay, so does anyone have any other questions about this customer journey map?
I don't know if I might sound really dumb on here, but when you're asking like, what is the customer thinking or feeling? For me, it's like, okay, they want to get their clothes clean. Is that what you mean? And then it says consideration stage. Well, they're not sure if they want to or not. And then decision stage, driving there and getting it done. I mean, is that too simplistic? Or, and then the other one is, what will move your buyer? Are we talking like what I need to do for Facebook or Instagram, or I don't know any of those things that people use, Twitter or Tweet or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the awareness stage? Is the I don't know. And then the consideration stage, whether they're trying to decide whether they want to use me or just use that kind of service.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So decision stage is whether they're going to use your service. And then
Okay.
consideration is when they're weighing their options. And then awareness stage is how do they even find you?
And that would be your email and all that other stuff, or
Yes. So like, how do they find you? So for you specifically with your laundromat, probably just moving or posting flyers, right? In those apartment buildings.
Well, and no, well, yeah, between, because we're going to do horses, laundry, ranches and
Okay.
small restaurants, businesses.
So I'm going to put Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, I use the Chamber of Commerce already because they're guiding me along with some of the stuff I'm doing.
Okay, so the Chamber of Commerce, I'm also going to put Yelp because you also have travelers. So this all goes back to your market segmentation here. So depending on who your market segments are, that's how they're going to find you. This right here is just the awareness stage. So Kelly has a big B2B and B2C component. She's both. So
Okay.
she has to be able to market to both. So as you're writing it out, make sure that they're kind of lined up because this is something you're going to pass off to a contractor. Okay, so whatever you're going to do for those in the B2B space, that's
Yeah, I met with my business partner on the laundromat stuff today, and we were at the actual building, and he was drawing up the spaces and showing me how we're going to use and what we're going to do and how to make it be more efficient.
Perfect. That's it. And then maybe for your consideration and decision stages, like for apartment dwellers, maybe you want the coupons or the reward services, or since not everybody, if they can't afford a washer dryer, they may not also be able to pay for internet service. So the free Wi-Fi, whatever it takes to get them into.
Yeah, we have a Wi-Fi bar and all that stuff set up.
Perfect. Okay.
The office space, people come in and do their business or schoolwork or whatever while their clothes are being done.
I was thinking of, she's not on here, Myra with her childcare. If you guys were in the same area, she could like have a worker to provide on-site childcare in one of those rooms in the building where you're doing, several things, not just the laundry, but I mean, it's the ideal location since there are stores, a coffee shop and everything else.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Okay. I know what I want in my head and I know what you want. It's just when I see these squares and boxes and stuff, trying to fit it into theirs where I have problems.
Yeah. And this, until you start talking to your customers, you won't know exactly what to put in here. And it's so much easier if there's an example. So this, Kelly,
This is cool.
I'm going to send this to you. And I haven't gotten through this whole thing. There were several things that I found for your other classmate who's doing something very similar, but this might be more of an app thing, which you might still need as part of your service.
Who else is doing the laundry thing?
Robin Senior.
Because we should get together because I have maybe some information she might be able to use also. And
yes, you should definitely get together.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that I need to share with you. Okay, good.
Awesome.
All right.
Sandra, I haven't marketed. Like I'm not good at that. So I've always used word of mouth.
That's fine.
Is that okay instead of?
For right now, as you're getting started, is probably perfect. So, okay, let's do yours, Nicola. Your customers are going to find you on LinkedIn. Okay. I would still use Facebook, and I would publish your articles on LinkedIn and have them automatically published to Facebook as well, just because your audience is on every social media platform. Okay, so they're probably checking Facebook more, and you just want it to pop up on their feed. The only way to find them on Facebook is to have their personal email address, and then when you start putting ads in, you can create a lookalike audience, and then the algorithms on Facebook will automatically find those people. They all share commonalities, same interests, and then that way it just pops up on their feed, and then you become a known brand, and they're more likely to do business with you just because of that familiarity. It's like what the 6 or 7 exposure rule before somebody will finally buy from you.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't, Nicole, I'm sorry. Can you also use your Chamber of Commerce? Because I find I have a CBD company business,
Mm-hmm.
and talking with the chamber and stuff, whenever we go anywhere, they promote us. And
Mm-hmm.
once you talk to them with all their members, I've had people come to me from them when I'm not even there. They'll be talking and somebody say, hey, call Kelly or this or that. Would that help you at all?
So our chamber is really expensive, and they don't do a whole lot with
Oh.
like events, or like you don't get a lot for the $1,000 that you're paying.
I pay $40.
okay,
So
I pay $40 a year.
oh wow, yeah, it's like almost $1,000, and you're not getting your money's worth.
Where are you at?
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
What state are you in?
New York.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Me too. It's expensive.
That's
But like, so you don't get a lot for your money. And I was looking at business associations and everything, but with COVID, they all shut down. So I've actually started working with a state agency called Empire State Development that we have here, so that I can get more contracts and stuff and start working with state agencies. But it's slow. And I think my downfall is my marketing, like, because I don't know how to market because it's such a narrow field. You know what I mean? Like, I can find grants and I can apply for grants for new businesses, nonprofits, and everything. But it's getting that interest, I think. So I wish our chamber was $40.
yeah, they get really, really expensive, and sometimes you don't get that return on your investment right away. So that's why a lot of people don't use the chamber. So I just typed in how to find a grant writer, and Upwork popped up. So that can be part of your marketing.
Okay.
But definitely, since it's easy for you to find funding, if you write a blog about that on LinkedIn, okay, then you're going to start to grow your followership, because everybody is struggling with that. They don't know how to find grants. Then when they find a grant, they don't know how to write it, and they don't have the money to be able to afford a grant writer. So you have at least 3 blog topics right there to start growing your following, your awareness. And that would we could actually put that over here. So you're on LinkedIn. Do you have, if you don't, well, you should have a website.
I do.
Okay, so go ahead and start some blogs. Everything should direct traffic to your website. Like if you do a blog on LinkedIn, have it set to a landing page on your website. Schedule a free consultation with me. There has to be some sort of giveaway. Or download this white sheet, or download this cheat sheet on how to write an outline for a grant, or 5 hacks to get started on a grant proposal. They'll get it started, but they won't finish it. I guarantee that. And then they'll come back to you. So if you form that relationship, because Anita has to do the same exact thing, produce YouTube videos, that will create that emotional connection, so that they will at some point buy your services. They may not buy $1,000 service right off the bat, but they may pay for an editing service. This is how far I've gotten. What is your hourly rate? What can I get from you to fix up this grant proposal? And that gets your foot in the door, because then once they get a grant, they'll probably get another one, and they're so comfortable with you already. Hey, I'm just going to send this to Nicola. I know she'll do a good job. and that's how you're going to get repeat business. So,
Okay.
okay. So that is all the stuff that you will put in here, how we move them along on their journey. Okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. So that one's hard, mostly because we can't find an example online, but this is exactly how sales works. Okay. Same thing for Niyurka, right? With your retreats. You have to give them something little to get them comfortable buying from you before they will pay for that big ticket, excursion to Nicaragua or Costa Rica to go and visit a coffee plantation and start sourcing coffee beans. Maybe you and Anita and Nicola can plan a women entrepreneurs conference at some point, but you all are kind of in that same space because these women entrepreneurs are looking for grant writers to fund their nonprofit, and they need coaching from Anita to fund their for-profit. So they can take that money from their for-profit, put it in their nonprofit, and give back to their communities. But they need Niyurka's help to start their business. And then you all can call. I don't see Myra on here anymore. She can plan the on-site childcare at those conferences, right? And Kelly just needs to be there for moral support because she's good at it and she's good at moving people. You'll find something for Kelly to do. Okay. I could easily find something for Kelly to do at these conferences, but that's how this all works. Okay. Oh, where are you, Myra? I don't even see you on here. Okay. So, does that answer your question so far? Okay. I see Myra now. Don't get too hung up on this. This is a work in progress, but this is how you do it. All right. And then the customer journey, whatever you can fill in is fine. You won't be able to fill this in until you are actually talking to your customers. But for two of you on here right now, I'm going to put what is the touch point with the business? If you're an online business, you have to have more touch points with them because they're not getting that face-to-face interaction. All right. So, but with like Myra's business, they see her, they can see her workers. If she has special certifications, she's kind of doing a drop-off childcare, maybe sort of, or a recreational type of business. But that's all going to be in the branding. But because that's a physical brick and mortar thing. Okay. They have more touch points with her. They can actually see her business. Okay. With Nicole, it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge. Same thing with Anita's business. Kelly's business is the same as Myra's because they get a chance, they get more opportunities for that face-to-face interaction. So you're going to have a really good staff, just as outgoing as you, Kelly. You're the brand. You are your brand. Same with Niyurka. I mean, she's already got a real estate business going on. All right. Does that make sense? Okay, we got to move on. I don't enjoy this assignment. Marketing can be really difficult, but this is a really good tool, a very good tool. Okay, once you actually have a chance to get it done. Let's go on to this economic model. So, because you will get this again next week, Ken Wasleben is really good. But I know some of you are trying to get ahead, so I want to talk about this now. If you've been through Boots to Business, you've already heard this. And if you've been through VWise, you've already heard this, right, Anita? Okay, so it's the same thing. It hasn't changed. There's 4 different levers of the economic model. Okay, and I want to go over them right now. So we're going to talk about revenue drivers. So this is how you separate your customers from their money. Okay, this is the stuff that you sell. It could be either a service or a product. We're going to talk about this here in a little bit. Okay, volume is how much you sell. They're all related. This is actually a relationship. That's what we're talking about. So what you sell, how much of it you sell, and your margins is how much you keep. So I hope this is a very simplified, these are simplified definitions, but I want this to be able to sink in a little faster. Your operating leverage is how much you have to spend, how much your business has to spend to make money. Okay. All right, so let's break this down. Okay, with your margins, I'm going to go through this quickly because what I really want to do is give you each examples of revenue drivers for your industry. Your margins can be high, medium, or low. It's different for every industry, and every industry has benchmarks. Some of you, like the software industry, have high margins because you have to do a lot of the work up front. You don't make any money for a very long time, but when you do make money, you keep more of it. So somebody was going to sell t-shirts, like a t-shirt business. It was just it was just one of the revenue drivers. So those margins are lower, okay, but they make money faster. Okay, we've talked about this. Okay, this is what you have to spend, right? This is like your overhead. This is what this refers to. Right now, most of you are working from home. Like Kelly, once you start leasing that place, same thing with Myra, your operating leverage is going to start to go up, right? Especially once you hire employees. Okay. What you want to do in the beginning is to have a low operating leverage. Okay. There's all sorts of bootstrapping ways to do this. Okay. And this is part of homework assignment 6 or 7. And I think the videos have a lot of examples. So there's ways to get around this to keep your costs low so you can actually make a profit. All right. Okay. And I'm not going to go through this. What I want to go straight to right now are the different types of revenue drivers. Okay. And I know not everyone could be here tonight. So what I wanted to do, let's talk about different revenue drivers for the different industries. Okay. So Victor's not here, but okay, I wanted to at least talk about this for him because there's 3 of you in this class who are in the music industry. So you're functioning as independent artists, although some of you are doing a lot more than that. Okay. So just make out a chart. This is really mind mapping at its best. You're not going to be able to do everything all at once, focus on one thing, but this is how companies actually grow. You have more than one revenue driver. It helps to lower your risk, okay? Because somewhere along the line, there's going to be seasonality in your sales, which means money's not always going to be coming in. But yet, when we talked about operating leverage, those bills still have to be paid. That's what this means. Fixed costs, the stuff you have to pay every month, even if you don't sell one thing. You want most of your costs to be variable. All right. So talking about revenue drivers. So for the music industry, you have your services, right? Okay, so this is kind of similar to what New Nicola, Anita are doing. Yeah, because you could do workshops, Nicola. Okay, so for your services, those live events include those workshops, or maybe instead of production, because they have to produce their content, which you actually will be too. So for you, instead of production, it would be like books, curriculum, that kind of stuff. You would actually put it here under products. The margins here will be a lot higher. Okay, because you actually have to perform that work, which takes you away from doing other things. All right. Now, again, we're focusing on the music industry. So for those of you, for the 3 of you who are in the music industry, I want you to look up the Beatles. There's actually a book out that talks about their business model. They're still making money, that the company that owns all that intellectual property, and not all of their, the original members of the Beatles are still alive, but yet it keeps producing a lot of revenue. So think about all the different services you offer, and then as well as your different products. So everything has changed, right? With streaming. So people are still buying CDs, but now all of that money is going into downloads, which are actually really cheap. So your margins here are so much lower. But then you can also make that up with merchandise. Okay. So if your margins are low, and this all goes to pricing. And that's a conversation that you can have with a business counselor after this course is done, because that is super involved. Okay. So if your margins are low, your volumes have to be very high. Okay. In order for you to actually just meet break even. It's called your break even point, where you don't make any money, but you're not losing any money. You're able to pay your bills, and then everything you make after that is profit. All right. Okay. And Ken is going to talk about that more next week. Okay. And then the other thing that you can do if you are producing intellectual property is to license your intellectual property. Okay. So this goes for, I think almost everybody here. Lola, I forgot to answer your question. I will get back to the customer journey map. Okay, so there's actually a conference in Nevada where you can it's a licensing conference where you can go and meet other vendors and they can license your products or services. Okay. So for Anita and Nicola, like if you've developed curriculum or books and somebody wants to use parts of that, for their workshops or their colleges or whatever, then you can come up with some sort of agreement where they can use this portion of your IP and they pay you a certain amount. It's like royalties. Okay. So that's why you want to finish. I know it's a pain. You want to finish that book. You want to finish that curricula. The best way to do that is to start off with blogs or do the YouTube videos, because you can actually download your transcript from YouTube. It will be completely messed up, but it's really easy to fix once you have it. And then you can turn it into other things, other products, as well as marketing material. And then you'll be able to see it on the analytics of your social media platforms, the content that people are requesting the most. And then you can sell it. Okay, it's just repurposing. Yes, Nirka.
So this is the same thing for the podcast, YouTube. Can I repurpose that?
Yes, absolutely. You could take your YouTube video, and actually I just did that for my church. I took a video, I edited it out, the audio, and shortened it, and then I put it on a podcast. And then all of those different platforms will drive traffic back to your website. That's why you want to have different platforms. And it's a lot to manage. Social media is a lot to manage. You're going to want to network and find good marketing contractors. Yes, Lola. Did you have something?
No, that's okay. Sorry.
Okay. All right. All right, so that's the music industry. So Victor, too bad you're not here. It would have been nice if you could have shared some of the history of how the music industry has changed, because it would benefit two of your classmates. Okay, before I forget, because Lola had asked a question about the customer journey map, I want to go back to that. The MQL stands for most qualified lead.
Okay.
So right here, so a stranger, how do you move them from being a stranger to a subscriber? So a subscriber or a lead is somebody who opts into your website or follows you on Facebook. First they'll follow, and if they like your content, they like what they see, then they'll like. And then they'll move on to being a most qualified lead. So, okay, so for your very nice purses, like, wow. I mean, if they are following you on 3 different platforms, they're here. Okay. So now you want to flood them with, where is it on here? Coupons, whatever it is. You're our VIP person. And then, so yeah, you're going to have to like take whatever lower price bags. It's almost going to be a write-off, but sell them like not too low, but your accountant can help you with this. Find a way to sell them so that it will help close that deal. Because once they start buying the lower price items, then you can move them up to the higher price ones. So that's what that means. Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to cover that because we always have a lot of people in retail. And this right here is very important for somebody who is B2B, retail, and online until that brand is established. So thank you, Lola. I'm glad you asked that question. And I think
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So because all of you will need this, but definitely Lola, anybody in our service-based businesses like is it Spencer with the HVAC? You want to make sure that this is filled out, your service support, okay? Because this is why people come back to you. Andrea does a good job with this, with her woodworking business, and because they're
Okay.
custom gifts, okay? So make sure you have this part filled out because this will be part of your operating procedure when you have customer service reps. It's amazing what
Okay.
people will do wrong. And then you're the one who has to deal with it because it's your company. Okay, this is the other thing, and you can do this at your leisure. I don't care if you turn in one page to me, I will give you full credit. It's really hard to do this unless you're already in business.
Yeah.
Why do people leave? That's what churn means. You want this documented. Okay. All right. I think we're good with the customer journey map. Let's go back. Let's map out some of the different the revenue drivers. So we're going to do the consulting businesses. Okay, there's quite a few of you in this one. Okay, so a lot of it is very similar to what we have up here, but I just want to make sure that we cover it so you can see it, and then you can just change it for your needs. Because for most of you, it's going to be the same thing. Okay, here it is, hierarchy. I just want this to be very easy for you all to read. Okay. Okay, we're going to put your company here. If you have several different ideas, I'm just going to put this down here as a DBA, okay, doing business as. And you can file for that. Here, I'll say this later. You can file for that through your Secretary of State. So if you have several different brands going on, Tracy has several different brands going on. You want to separate them because the marketing is going to be different for each of your products or services. Kelly, you have more than you already have several different companies. Never mind. Okay. New Yorker, you're going to have to separate yours. Okay. So let's talk about the services. So for those of you who are in a consulting business. Okay. Let's put consulting here. It can be like an hourly rate type of thing or whatever. I'm just making this up. You all know your businesses much better than me. And sometimes it takes the whole 7, and in some of the courses we used to take 8 weeks for people to really go through the concept and then decide at the very end that it wasn't the direction they wanted to go, and they would pivot and then they would do something and be really successful. And you know what, that's fine. This is a safe place for you to fail on paper and in a classroom. And that's exactly what we want. The other thing here too, so you have the hourly rate, and then maybe you can do something else where you can get that recurring revenue. So some sort of package deal or a bundle. I can't think of a good way to describe this, where they get services for a certain time frame, for like maybe you want to say over the next 6 months you'll get X number of services with whatever. Okay, so like Anita, that I can see you doing. And then Nicola, maybe you can charge like a certain percentage of the grant.
So is this where we are putting down all the services that we offer? Or is this where we're putting together our price point?
It really needs both, but just the different services that you offer. You will need to put your price points in here at some point.
So Sandra,
Mm-hmm.
what I have I'm working on coaching packets. So, if you are depending on the type of coaching services they're looking for, because, I offer transition coaching, there's life coaching, but then there's also career coaching. So with that, I have the different packets to say, 3, 6, 9 months. And the reason why is because coaching isn't therapy, so it's not going to go on for years. So I'm working on putting that, so that would go up under my services. So is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and you can design this any way you want. I like how you've done it. I would just separate it out for the different segments. Okay, so let's go through yours, Anita, and then this will make sense, because what you're going to develop from here is a sales sheet. So yes, you will need your pricing.
Okay.
So I'm glad you asked that, Nicola. Okay, all right, Anita, go ahead. Let's walk through this. So you have the coaching packets too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to just list that under products. You can always fix this later. But right now, we're just mapping out the different things that you offer. Okay, so you have, say that again. I really liked what you are offering. So you have career coaching, life.
Yes, career coaching, life coaching, and there's career, life, leadership, and transition. And the transition is not the death. Transition is moving from, it's like when I left the military and going into civilian sector, assisting them with looking at the resumes or the different things that they would need that are different from what you had in the military. So it was taking their not their DD-214, but taking their information or their evaluations, and we had to put them in Word form. We're putting them in Word form so that someone outside of the military would understand what they're doing. Talking to them about interviewing. So those are, that's the transitioning service. The leadership coaching is finding their leadership, how they are as a leader. So we go through assessments. So I'm working on certifications, getting certifications for different types of assessment. But if they have an assessment, we look at that to assist with shaping how, we are their leadership style.
Oh, wow. Okay. This is very good. And people are getting contracts for this. So,
yes.
All right. Okay, there's no right or wrong way for however you all want to approach this, but you want to do something similar. And I'm just going to go ahead and use Anita's as an example. And I will completely understand if when we go over time, if you have to leave, and that's completely fine too. And you can schedule an appointment with me later after the holidays and even after the course ends, and I can do this individually with you for like 30 minutes if that helps. Okay. I've had students, there are students from the first class who are still wanting to do this, develop their new idea even more. They're already in business, but they're transitioning. Okay, Anita, let's go through this. Gosh, you do a lot. I liked the.
But I also consult with force protection.
Let's do that one last.
Okay.
Okay, so the transition coaching, the assessments, and leadership coaching. Okay, let's come up with package one. What how much are you charging? What are you offering? So basically we're developing a sales sheet here.
Okay, and see, that's
I might not have
what
done this part right, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's what we're developing the package, the price itself. And here's what I'm looking at. Not to overprice that I will not get customers, but not to underprice, where it appears as if I don't know what I'm doing. So that's where we're looking at, the packages for 3, 6, 9 months.
3 months,
Mhm.
6 months. Okay, this is reasonable and people will pay for it. All right. Well, how much would you charge for a 3-month program for this?
For a 3-month program is $2,500.
Okay. And what do they get for it?
Oh man, I should have had my file out.
It's okay.
It's with the 2,500, it's one-on-one, so it's virtual. Well, see, at first it's an initial face-to-face, but now it's all virtual because we're not meeting.
It's fine. It's still face to face. It's just online.
Yeah.
So they get for $2,500. Is it one meeting or a meeting once a week?
So with the 2,500, it's a once a week meeting.
For
Weekly meetings. Mm-hmm. For 45 minutes.
Okay. What is your breakdown per hour?
That's what my husband's working with me.
You know what? Just remind me, I'm going to send you an Excel spreadsheet.
Okay.
And because you need to be able to map out all your costs. So Nicole,
Okay.
you're going to come up with different packages that are just like this too.
Right.
And include your pricing. Okay.
Mhm.
And then whatever coaching packet.
Mhm.
So this is more for job seekers, right?
Yes, the transition coaching. Mhm.
Okay, so that's your niche. Okay, this is good. This will sell. This will work. So this coaching packet, at some point, you're going to combine it with all this stuff, and it's going to become a book. Because you need that book. I will email this to you. I will need reminders. You will need that book because you're going to send it to conference organizers. When they see your book, they see your YouTube videos and see they're judging for your stage presence. Then you will get booked as a speaker.
Okay.
Then you will easily find new clients that way.
Okay.
But the trick is to treat your existing clients well,
Right.
because they will provide 80% of your revenue.
Okay.
20% of your customers.
Okay.
All right. Good. Very good. Lola, because you're retail, are you willing to go through this? You don't have to if you don't want.
Andrew, I just have a question.
Yes, Nicole.
Regarding pricing and everything, I think like this is the hardest thing to come up with as an entrepreneur is, what is the right price and what will people pay? And I know like I have like an hourly rate. I don't do a flat rate because I feel like a flat rate, if I work under that many hours and they're still paying that flat rate, I feel like I'm ripping them off. But I feel like an hourly rate, at least then we're both getting what we're paying. Like they're getting what they're paying for.
They're paying for your expertise. It would take them, 5 months to write a grant proposal that you could probably write in 3 days, and you'll get them that grant, whereas they can't get themselves that grant. Yes.
So how do you come up with your pricing, I guess, is a question I have for this to make sure that your pricing is right.
Okay, that's a good question. Okay, let's talk about your grant writing here. All right, there's different ways to do it. We're just going to talk about, because sometimes they won't pay for you to write a full grant. So editing services, how much time it takes you to look at something and give feedback. So maybe you'll charge like $30 for one paragraph thing. And I've done this. Okay. And it was really just to help somebody out to develop a pitch. Okay. And now the going rate for editing is $10 per page. So you just need to research what similar companies are doing, because you may not be able to find what grant writers are doing.
Right.
So this is reasonable, okay? And then you will have to charge more because of your expertise, because you know what people are looking for with grants, and a lot of them are research projects, and
Yep.
that's what people are paying for, and they need to pay you for that, because if you're not feeling like your services are getting what you value them as, you're not going to want to keep doing this. Okay. So now we can talk about the different grants. And when there's a lot of different grants out there. And it really depends on the organization. Maybe for some of them, it's like a 1 to 3 page thing. Some of the grants that I help people with, we're talking about research projects. And now you could charge based on the percentage of that, that proposal. Some people will just do off the bat. I need to connect you with some of the VWise graduates. They'll charge a minimum of $1,500. You could do a retainer. If you don't know how much time a grant is going to take you, then charge a retainer and then give them back the money later for the stuff that you didn't need to charge them for.
Okay.
Okay.
I just feel like I'm low compared to other grant writers. So like my going rate is $65 an hour.
That's perfectly fine.
It is okay, because around here other grant writers will be 100 to 125. So I'm like,
do they have do they have an established clientele?
yeah. They don't have my background, but they do have clients.
And some of them may be willing to take you on as an associate grant writer too.
Okay.
Just offer that and say, look, I can help you with your grants. This is the expertise I have. Because now it's going to be harder for them if they don't know the language that people are looking for with those different specialties.
So if each one of us have different products, right? Should we look at a certain price for each category or for each item? Do you know what I mean? So like Anita has different trainings that she does. So should it be like her $2,500 for any training at 3 months, or does it depend on the intensity of the training? If the cost should be different, say an assessment is easier than a leadership coaching. So should a leadership coaching be more for the 3 months versus maybe an assessment? Like, do we look at it that way, or is it, okay, it's this category, this is the price? Am I saying that? I don't know if I'm saying it right.
No, you are. Okay, so because that's why I asked her, how much time do you put into this? So 3 months is 12 weeks times 45 minutes. So you're meeting them for 12 weeks. Where's my calculator? Are you also available for questions after that, Anita? Like, they have a panic attack before this interview. They just need you to be their cheerleader. Okay.
Yes. And I allow them to know. We have these sessions locked in. However, if there is a question or, you're up against a wall or something, call me, because you shouldn't be up against the wall because we're going over this, so they know they know my availability. I tell that to them. I don't put that in the packet necessarily because I don't want to be bombarded 24 hours with questions.
Okay, so now, they're paying $208 a week. They get 45 minutes with you. They get some other papers with you. maybe you're giving them access to your videos on like Vimeo or some platform where they can't share it. It's all confidential property. Okay. Will they pay this? That's the big question.
So before COVID so I have my website, I have a Facebook business page, and I have a Instagram page. I had coachees, that's what I call them. And once COVID put us on restriction, most of them were running out of, because a lot of them took the 3-month packet. Because I didn't break it down, to $208 a week when I, do the math in my head. But once COVID was over, they were kind of, they're at home, and I got calls. Hey, I'm kind of stuck because I know what I want to do. I have time to work on my resume and this and that. So what else do I need to do? But my time is up. And here's what I told them. Your time is up with me on paper with payment, but if you need to get from where you are to where you desire, because we have a coaching relationship, call me, because I didn't want anyone to feel stuck because we're already restricted. So, some of them are, Dr. Greenlee, once all this is over, I need to start this up again, but here's the way I want to go. So it assists me. I know they're coming, but it stopped. I have nothing now but time on my hands. So.
No, that's great. That's great. Okay. So part of your homework here can be to figure out your expenses too, because that will affect your pricing. So, okay. So what do you need, Anita, to make this happen? So a conferencing platform, right? Like Zoom. What is that? I don't know, $150 for the year. So I'm just going to put annual pricing there. Okay. What else do you need? Copies of your coaching packet. Some of this.
I'm muted. I'm sorry. Yes. So they're the copies of the packet. My other expenses are, although it's all the forms, they fill out the forms and they send them back. So what I'm working with is someone to be able to protect their information, you know what I mean? So that it's not just sitting out there.
To protect their information?
Yes.
You mean like Dropbox or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, this is good. This is just brainstorming. You might not need all this. And I don't even remember how much I paid for some of these things.
Right.
Okay. Well, this is good. Once you know all of this, you'll know how much money you're making off of each of your different packages. That's why I wanted to go through this part. I think this is reasonable. And I think people will pay for it. I think to add even more value, so they're not always calling you, I would include a subscription to one of these platforms, because you can house all your videos there. They have to have a password. If you put these on a website or somewhere else, you can specify which domains they can only be shown on. Okay. And people cannot share that. With YouTube videos, they can share it everywhere.
Okay.
Okay. And you don't want your intellectual property being shared, because now somebody else can steal it.
Right. And that's what, when I published my book, I put that there's a reasonable amount of production, but you first have to have permission from me to reproduce anything from my book.
There you go.
So that's in my book. So that's why with the book, I'm writing my curriculum, and that's why I do my presentations from the different chapters.
Okay, you're gonna want your trademark, okay?
Yes.
Gosh, the lawyer fee, I want to say is $800, and then the filing fees are 300, and there's more filing fees. So just set aside 1,500. I might be way off on this. Nicole, you all of you are going to want this, especially Lola and Shay. You have to have your trademark.
EBV offer that too.
Say that again.
They offer that service after the thing, and it's like 275 every time you file. But they wait the lawyer fee.
When I graduated from one of the programs there, and when I asked for it, I got really lucky. One of the attorneys was doing it for free for veterans. So I only had to pay the filing fees, which was, I thought 300 initially, and then another fee at the end.
What would we be trademarking? Like, I understand like a book or something like that, but I guess I don't understand what I would be doing.
Your company name, like, because especially if you're going to develop intellectual property, which you can sell later. I mean, you could either do it under your own personal name, unless you want to sell your company at some point, then it should be under your company name. Because Nicola, even though you're writing grants, it can lead to other opportunities.
Okay.
I can guarantee that almost all of you will become serial entrepreneurs. All right. Okay. All right, Kelly, let's go ahead and do yours. I'm sorry to keep everyone, but I'm glad we have this chance to do this together online. Kelly, let's go through your different services. She's doing, for this class, it's a laundromat, but it's more than a laundromat. So
All right, we got, I talked to him today, we're doing a laundromat. It's gonna have a coffee snack bar. We're also doing laundry cards. So like you buy it online, there'll be no money, like no more quarters. Darn it, I like the quarter sounds. No more quarters or dollars.
That's a good idea.
It also has we're doing stuff like mom's night out, wine and laundry.
I like that. You know, people will come for that, especially for the wine.
Well, Tony said do a wine cigar bar, but you know, the moms want to get away from dads, kids, so come have wine and do laundry. But selling stuff mostly is, and then we're going to sell space, advertising space, because I have a fire department. So I have big walls. So we're going to sell advertising space. And it's got a, is that what you're looking for? Or, I mean,
yeah, very good. Very good.
Oh, you have vending machines and in the bottom two. My son wants a gaming room, but that's not going to happen.
You never know, right?
But he said you could bring kids in so that they don't bother their parents. They could go in a gaming room because we have Wi-Fi and stuff. So it's not that we have to have the games, but they have a room that they could go sit in and do their games.
No, that's fine. Maybe.
But I can't figure out how to price that. So that would be wouldn't be a money making.
Wow, you have a lot going on, but you have the space. How much are you going to charge for advertising?
I don't know yet. That's what we were talking about, because the boards, we could put anywhere from a 6x12 or a 6x6 board up, so they could do their advertising into monthly. When I worked for Toyota for a 6x12 advertising, it was $250 a month, but I don't know if a laundromat would bring that much a month. Probably, you know, I'm thinking $75 to $100 a month or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I wonder what kind of traffic you'll get in your.
Now, see, and a lot of people, the laundromats, like we were talking today, is a lot of people think of apartment and low income, but where we're at, it's a higher income ranches and restaurants in the town we're in, and people staying in bed and breakfasts and lodges. So, you know, we have people that are like, you're staying at bed and breakfast, it doesn't have a laundromat. So people would come over to do their laundry, quickies type thing. So I'm not sure how that would work.
Okay.
There's a lot I'm learning. Just like the building I have is big enough to where one whole half of the building has 3 spaces that we're going to lease out for, I'm hoping like a tax person or we talked about somebody who does taxes or a financial business where people don't have to have like a ton of cars in a parking lot where they make appointments for people to come in,
Mm-hmm.
because we have parking for about 15 to 20 cars. So I
Oh,
can't do like, I don't want to do like a hair salon where you have to have like 15 or 20 cars there, or a realtor who wants to have, but I can't do that because to rent those spaces too.
right. Okay.
But hey, at daycare, I'd rent a space out to a daycare that kids could, like you said, somebody wants to watch kids with the parents doing laundry. But the washers and dryers that we use are so much quicker too that you're not spending 3 or 4 hours there unless you want to, because the washers are so big, they're so much faster, and the dryers are way faster. So
Okay.
While you all are doing that, Kelly, I have a question. Have you all considered having machines that are basically just for people who have pets?
that's what the large machines are for. I'm doing horse blankets, cow,
Okay.
farm stuff. Yeah, because the big beds, the pet beds,
Yes.
yeah, stuff like that we have, they're 100-pound washers, and I have 2 for customers to use, and then I have 2 for just me because we're running a fold and a wash and fold service out of the back. Oh, sorry, that's the other one, Sandra, is a wash and fold service.
Okay. So it would be good to know, how much would you charge for the wash and fold service?
Well, that's what we're working on right now, because he said what the average is. It's $15 the load for the wash. Then it's $10 for the dry, and then you have your delivery and your pickup and delivery charge, which can be just tip driven, or say $5 for pickup delivery within a certain mile radius, or $10 for pickup delivery in a certain mile in a certain area. But that we're working on that because we're trying to figure out because I'm in like I don't want to go out beyond like 50 miles. Usually you stay within 20 miles of the laundromat is what.
Right. Okay.
So, but we live in the country, so 20 miles isn't really enough, because the ranches are a little farther. But that's all
Okay.
stuff I'm still learning and working on.
What you can do is, after the course ends, there's an Excel spreadsheet on Score. That's the easiest one. That's the one I usually send to students, and then do the pricing for each of these different things. Do a separate pricing,
Okay.
and then not just the pricing, but also the expenses to go along with it, because it's better to track them all separately.
Right, because you got to do laundry soap, blah, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Then what you're going to sell in laundry soap, and what you're going to use for your washing.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, good. All right. I
See, I can
know.
talk to you and explain all this to you without a problem, but then you want me to draw it in these little boxes?
You don't just do it on paper. I know this can be, it really does need to be separated out, but at least we know that you have several different ways to make money. And when you see it on the Excel spreadsheet, like when you break it down by month, you'll see the seasonality in your sales. Like probably during the holidays, nobody's going to be buying anything from Anita, right?
Yeah.
See, same thing with Nicole. Everybody's busy on with other things, but like Kelly, during this hot summers in Texas, especially like in California, they always have droughts. Everyone's going to use your wash and fold service.
And we have the campgrounds right here 10 minutes from it. They're 15 minutes away. The Guadalupe State River's 10 minutes from our house. So it's like right there. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
On the part 5, legal and financing your adventure.
Uh-huh.
It says, given your understanding of legal forms of businesses, what is the most likely legal form you should or will pursue? I don't have any clue. Would that be your contract for the building? My legal,
Oh, LLC, S Corp, C Corp.
okay, I
So
already have that.
I think you're an LLC, right?
I'm an LLC.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what that means. So, I mean, Nicola, you could operate as a sole proprietor for now.
And also with, I got my HUD, and I know some of the other women on here with some of the stuff they're doing. I don't know about, well, like the purses and stuff. Could you use your HUD for that too?
Yes. Yeah. For use are you talking about are you talking
The HUD
about,
is for, it's within your area here. It's for female. Well, they're looking for, which half of it sounds like all of us are left women on here. All the guys are quiet, so I don't think they're on. But for women, it's a trifecta to be a female, veteran, disabled. For HUD, that's like a home run.
exactly. So you'll get a lot of contracts.
And that
At
area,
least
yeah,
at the
so I mean,
municipal
like,
state. I don't know if you have any like state agencies near you that would, contract out these wash and fold services.
well, I'm talking like for the grant writing and stuff like that, because I don't know. I'll tell you what, if there would have been somebody like these two ladies when I got out of the military, because I did some interesting things. And when I applied at the police department, unfortunately, I wrote down the interesting things. And the first department, I think it kind of freaked them out. So then it was like, okay, you can't say that kind of stuff. So you have to rewrite it. You're laughing, but it's pretty funny. But I mean, that's, government contracts, people learning how to write government contracts need somebody who knows how to write a government contract.
Are
Oh
you
my
talking
goodness.
MWBEs?
I have no idea what initials mean.
Oh, sorry. It's,
Okay, I was a Marine and a cop, so
well,
my
my-
brain is small.
Okay,
I was
so
married to a
Nicola,
Marine.
this could be a future revenue stream for you, is helping with the government writing out those solicitations for contracts.
Yeah, it stands for Woman Minority Owned Business,
Yeah.
is what it is. And then you have SV, which is Service Connected Disabled Veteran. So each state has a certain percentage that of woman, minority, or disabled veteran that has to be used towards a state or government contract. Even the federal government has it. So like laundry service, you could actually get your woman or minority owned service certification or disabled veteran. And then what you could do is you could contract with government agencies so that you have a constant revenue stream to do their laundry. So maybe, I don't know, perfect example around here is like our prisons, right? Our prisons will actually contract with laundry services to do the laundry. And they have to do a certain amount with a woman or minority owned business.
Well, and
Just like coaching.
that's like HUD. But HUD, instead of being national, is this area. Like it takes a zip code. Like for your contract writing, what zip code you're in will bring you business as a woman veteran, because you're in a certain zip code, not because you're in a thing. So HUD works with zip codes, and they'll say like, because where I'm out in the Tules, and my other business, because of where I'm at in the Tules, my other business, I'm the only female veteran out here. So
Got you.
with the other things, I have an oil thing we're working on, but that gives me this area. So
Now I understand.
Contract writing, there's so many people looking for people helping with contracts, but you want grants. That's a lot different, right?
I do both. I administer grants too, federal, state. I project manage all of that. So.
Okay, so that should be one of your revenue streams too, because
Yeah.
they might be looking for that, somebody, some government agency. So so this is what Kelly's talking about, the hub program. I'm trying to think of any of you. Myra's not on here either. Some of your other classmates, and I don't know if Anthony is in a hub zone, or I don't think Dawn is. Those are our other consultants. So if you live in a hub zone, I live in a hub zone. I think all of Oklahoma is a hub zone. You can get certain certain contracts set asides because those areas are so they don't get enough. They're not economically well off.
Right.
Yeah, they're eligible for more set asides.
And
Oh,
they
gotcha.
lose them or they lose the money. That area loses the money. They won't get it again.
Exactly.
If
You
they
use
don't
it or
use
you lose it. Yep.
So Kelly, I'm just wondering, you'll have to look and see what other and what organizations in your area within that 20-mile radius you can target for contracts. So that will be part of your marketing plan. So
That's right.
so these little squares that I want you to fill out, this could be your marketing plan, how you will actually target them. So for the bed and breakfasts, those can be flyers, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So flyers, and then for your B2B people, look on your state. It's the Secretary of State. They have their portal for how to do business with them. You have to actually register, and then you'll just get the notifications.
Right.
Okay, and then you can also search for those opportunities. But are you already registered? Yeah, you are, because you have
SBA, and I started my SAMS, but at the end of last year, they said SAMS was going to combine with DUNS.
Yeah.
I already have my DUNS number, but I don't know if I have to go back into SAMS and redo it, because I know that they're going to combine them.
You don't have to redo it. It's already combined.
But I'm starting to get stuff, believe it or not. Just yesterday, I got a thing for an oil deal that they're coming to me and asking me if I want to do it because they need to do a federal contract.
Oh, wow.
So I almost fell on the floor. I was like, seriously? So I think that somewhere along the line I am in SAMS, I guess, because you have to be.
Yes.
These
Yes.
people.
Even at the municipal level, you have to be registered. Okay.
Yeah, because I do have a DUNS number for that and all that. I don't have it yet for the laundromat, but.
Oh, okay. If you go to your PTAC counselor, they can do it in a day, in like an hour.
Okay.
Okay. All right, good. Anybody else? So Lola, like if you want to get your handbags into the lines of a department store, you would have to do that too. Okay. All right, very good. Is there anything else?
So we need to have to you before we come back to class next week, because mine's going really slow. We have to have part 4, 5, and 6 turned in.
Next week is the economic model. So
we're not in the business plan. I'm confused.
So after, and this is not, nothing is due until after next week's webinar. You'll fill out this part, economics of the business.
That's the part I've been working on.
Okay, so that's what we worked on today. This is very involved. I don't expect you to fill it all out. Okay, kind of have an idea of your pricing. Some of your margins will be higher. So those live events, consulting, you'll have higher margins. Some of your products, your books, lower. Okay, and that's what that means. So your implications for risk. If your margins are low, right here you'll write that you have to have higher volumes. That's what that means.
So implications of risk? What I don't that's our problem. What can't you guys come up with easier words?
Yes, I will come up with easier words because this was designed for like an MBA program. So I totally understand, especially when I took this years ago. Let's talk about revenue drivers. So for right now, some of you have one revenue driver, or some of you will have few. The implications for risk for this means that, okay, if you have, what is it?
Like, okay, so like if I have a vending machine, are the
Mhm.
implication risk of it crashing and then I have to figure out how to fix it? Is that what you're talking about?
No, when you have fewer revenue drivers, if there's poor performance in one of those lines, okay, it means that you have less money coming in. That's what that means.
Okay.
But if you have more revenue drivers, and let's say, there's seasonality in your sales, they can act as a buffer. Like, let's say you sell more of some things, like Lola sells a lot of handbags at Christmas time and during Mother's Day because her target market are women. That's what does she do during the rest of the year? So that's what we're trying to figure out. So during the rest of the year, she'll probably have more sales, or maybe she can sell shoes or something else. That's what this is designed to get you to think about. Same thing with New Yorker. She has a travel, business. So let's say like now with COVID, nobody's traveling, but maybe it'll pick up again during the summer. So how will she deal with that? Okay. I want to go, Lola's is the easiest to do an example with. Okay. So she has a few revenue drivers right here. There's a risk of poor performance in one of her product lines. Okay.
Okay.
And then that'll affect her cash flow.
Okay.
She won't be able to pay her bills. Okay. Her
Okay.
volumes, let's back up. Her margins, very high. Let's say they're like 80%. I'm just making up a number, but they're high because they're high-end handbags, which means she only has to sell, her volumes are low, right? She only has to sell a few of them. Her operating leverage, you have to have these manufactured somewhere, right? Or are you making them?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you? Oh, okay. They're going to be manufactured in Italy, so they're going to be Italian handmade bags.
Okay, so wow. And so she's outsourcing them, which could probably keep her costs lower because she doesn't have to run a factory. So I'm just going to say medium because she's not paying employees. Everything is, are they doing the drop shipping too, or do you have to take care of all that?
No, they're doing the drop shipping as well.
Oh my gosh, this is so ideal. So right now it's low. She's going to keep more of her profit. Wow. So maybe for her, some of her risk, some of it won't even go here. It might go down here. Just what would you do if there's a design flaw, faulty performance, those are the things that you'll have to address, and you will actually address them right here in your SWOT analysis. Okay.
Okay.
So and then the other thing, here's a threat, and this is not something you can control. These things you can control, the strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats you can't control. So she cannot control copycats. Although I have had a patent attorney tell me that the highest compliment is when people copy you.
Yeah.
You can
Copy you.
Exactly, and you can judge your success by the number of times you were copied. So she has to figure out a way to deal with that. Okay, I'm trying to think. Her strengths could be her, her team, their ability to design things. The weaknesses is that she's a one-man show right now. Okay, and then opportunities, whatever is going on in that fashion industry. So right now there's like a huge surge in entrepreneurship because people can't go to work, right?
Yes.
Okay, so more women are going to want the handbags. The other opportunity, actually a threat right now, is also the pandemic. Nobody's leaving the house, so they're not buying.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a decline in sales. There's an IVMF grad who sells lipsticks. It's almost shut down her business because nobody's buying lipstick because of the masks.
Yeah.
So she should probably make masks. All right, so
Can I add something to
Yes,
that
Lily.
threat?
Mhm.
For example, like the economic taxes and the trade issues that's going on right now between the U.S. and the Europe and even China. So isn't that, can't that be included as like a threat?
yes, perfect. All investors want to see, because this is something that I can see for you later. Like if you start your own store like Kate Spade did, and then you have your handbags everywhere, investors want to know how you will deal with these threats. So as long as you can show that you've thought this through, then yeah, they'll probably give you money to like start 5 stores in 5 major cities to see
Okay.
how well that this can go. All right. Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So you have, once you develop this and test it, you have a scalable model right here.
Okay.
Okay. And that's because you have a large market. You could probably even
Okay.
design lower end bags to have an even bigger market. It really depends on your customers. So just
Okay.
go with what they are willing to buy, because you really need to tailor everything for them. Okay.
Okay.
So for Anita and Nicola, you have very few revenue drivers now. So you're going to have to find ways to mitigate that risks, especially like during the holidays when nobody's buying. What one business has done is they have a line of credit, which they use to fund the business, pay employees, rent, all that stuff during those slow seasons. And then they just plan for a certain time of the year, and that's when they do most of their work. They bring in all of their revenue for like the entire year during one quarter, because that's when they have access to those customers. But they still made Inc. 500's top 100 veterans like 2 or 3 years in a row. So it can be done, but you have to plan ahead. And that's why this asks, what are the implications for risk? How does this affect you? Okay. Kelly, what are your risks for your laundromat?
I was sitting here trying to figure out bad machines.
Well, your operating leverage is going to be high because you have to pay rent, right?
Well, yeah, we're buying the building, so we'll have a mortgage.
Okay, so so this is a risk for you. You have rent because you have the building. You have employees. You're going to have.
They're seniors. We're doing the old people, man, because old people, they can fold and they're reliable.
You probably don't have as much risk as I'm thinking, but this could be a risk for you. Your margins with the.
Well, and also making sure the other half of the building is rented out. That's a big risk because we're buying a whole building and it has to have the other side rented out. But
New Yorkers are our realtor, so she could be like a sounding board for you.
right.
Okay. Okay, so your margins are going to be different for each of your services, like the wash and fold, the advertising. We'll just write medium for now. So just because we don't know what they all are yet.
Correct.
Hopefully those contracts will give you a really comfortable margin, and they'll give you some recurring revenue. So implications for risks with your margins and your volumes, I would guess that the majority of your income is going to come from
Wash and fold.
Yeah,
Is what the guy was telling us today.
from your
Are you talking full laundromat?
Yeah,
he said for wash and fold, for the one guy that's doing it with one less machine than I'll have, he's making almost 60,000 a month on wash and fold.
Wow.
Because yeah, remember, people like the concierge service thing. They like somebody, they pick them up, they just put like their name on a bag and put it on their porch. You go pick it up and then you return it. And I wasn't going to do wash and fold till I started talking to him and he started showing me the numbers these people are making.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
This is exactly how you learn about your business, by talking to other people. And what other students have done in different classes is they would go and sit with direct competitors who are in a whole different region.
Right.
So they can't compete with each other, and then they share trade secrets.
Yeah, we
The
were
other thing
looking around and yeah, we've been going to the different laundromats around here and none of them have, a lot of them are like what you picture a laundromat being like. They're like these little hole in the walls. They're not well lit. But people go in and use them because they need laundry.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly, have you checked your area zoning and code regulations on the
Yes.
building that you're going to buy?
Yes, ma'am. It's a fire department. That's where I lucked out with the water
Mm-hmm.
because I'll run 800 gallons of water a day.
And then, did you have them walk through with you, like your
The fire
code
department? We did that today.
with the code guy?
Oh, no. I walked with the laundry people today.
Oh, because so
And
I'm helping somebody who is going to start a daycare because I do
Uh-huh.
business consulting too. And they actually are purchasing an old church to put a daycare in, and they had code walk through just to make sure that they'd have everything, and code gave them ideas on how they could actually improve the business, like things that they didn't think about.
Uh-huh.
Because code goes through so many buildings. So that might be something to think about and just get like their opinion on where you want to put things, because then that might actually affect your revenue drivers, because maybe they'll think of something that you didn't to add in incorporating.
That'd be a cool idea.
Just an idea.
You're so smart.
The economic developer in me.
That's cool. Because I will.
Sorry.
I'll ask my realtor about that because she probably knows who to call and talk to.
Yeah. And I know like a lot of code around here, that's what they'll do. They'll walk through the building, tell you like if there's any code violations or what you need to do to make sure that your business is up to code. But then you can also say, well, do you have any recommendations on things, or, you know, have you heard of anything that maybe we're missing in the community that I might be able to add? Or so that's my recommendation when somebody starts a business and they're buying a building, and they usually get a lot of good recommendations to add.
Cool. I shall do that. I'm very open to suggestions.
Okay, very good. So Nicole, you should also be writing business plans then, and then those personas are actually easier to find online. Okay.
Yep.
And you and Anita can like refer clients back to each other, because any business owner has to have a resume. Okay, especially if you want to get into the procurement space. So Kelly will be calling you later.
Oh my God, this is the hard part, is the resume and the business plan. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because not
Yeah.
only are you going to need a resume, you will need a capability statement. So Nicole can handle all that for you.
Well, I have
Anita can handle the other part for you. All right.
my lawyer put together. She did the capability statement for the oil business. So I have a lawyer who is also a business. She's a genius lady, but so she ended up doing a lot of my paperwork, writing out a lot of stuff for me, and didn't charge me, which was really nice.
Oh, very good. Awesome.
But she's also going to be the company lawyer, so she'll make money.
Yes, she will. Yes, she will.
That's so funny.
Okay. Are there any other questions I can answer for you all? And don't worry about getting this all done over Thanksgiving, because Ken is going to talk about this again next week. And what you can do is ask him specific questions here. Now that we've had a chance to go through this, like what are the critical outcomes that you want to achieve? You know, low margins, high volumes, or vice versa, that kind of stuff. And then with the SWOT analysis, gosh, this refers back to some of your research from in the beginning of the class. Okay. And do whatever you can. All of this is a work in progress, and some of it you can do with a business counselor or a mentor even after the class ends. All right. But you all are already off to a great start. Anita, you're already there. You just need to finish your sales sheet. Okay. And then New York is doing a great job growing her following on social media. I enjoy seeing your posts. So you all are doing very well. So keep it up. We're so proud of you. Are there any other things I can cover? And I really appreciate you all sharing in this forum, because that was amazing how that just worked out.
Can we go back to assessing your competitors on the Arsenal? On that sheet, do we just circle those little things and then send it to you? I mean, that's the other one.
Yeah, this is very simplistic. I don't even recommend doing it this way. If you can, yeah, what people have done is just typed in the names of their competitors. The real way, they wanted to simplify this to make it easier for you.
Okay.
The best way to do this is actually to make a chart on your own, put your company first, list some direct competitors, people who do the exact same thing that you do, as well as a few indirect competitors, and then actually write out some of the different things, like what their price points are. Otherwise, you have to keep researching it over and over if you don't write it down. And this you're going to need to fill out the other parts of the feasibility analysis.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I
am so far behind. Okay.
For now, just to get something turned in, just circle it. But as you're going through this, because this is ongoing research, which you will always be doing, and the people who will put you out of business are the ones that you never expect. Look at Uber, Airbnb. They came out of nowhere. They disrupted the industry. Those are the people that you need to watch. But for this course, just circle.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So, question.
Uh-huh.
The economic model, is that part of the same?
Yes.
Form?
It's all okay. So the economic model starts here under part 4. So it's page 9,
Page 10,
10, and 11. So it ends on page 11. And the videos will give you examples of bootstrapping. It says, just tell what your startup costs, what you're going to use the money for. What investors and lenders really want to see is how much money you need for each category. And even if you're not needing money, I would still put it on, because you need to know how much money you need. Yes, Niyurka.
So for me, that I'm like doing a little bit of everything. I spread the startup costs for everything that's separated. I'm publishing a book, by the way, as well. So
choose one thing. The process is the same. It doesn't matter what you do, but you just choose one thing to focus on for this course, just so you can actually get it done. So
but because I started with the more umbrella, do I use those startup costs? Because the company's already started. So I started that, and everything else is just a DBA.
Just do your new retreat company.
So use the cost of the retreat alone.
That's because you want to know what those are.
Okay.
That's a concept you're developing. Okay. All right. So that's what we'll be due the following week when we get back. Okay. And then the very last week will be part 6, which is the SWOT analysis. Okay. This won't take long to fill out at all. And then this is really easy. They just want to see that you have a business counselor or a mentor that you can go to after the course ends. And you can go to them even before the course ends, because I think isn't there a business plan competition coming up that you all will be eligible for? If you're already an IVMF grad, I thought I saw that in one of the newsletters. So
we have newsletters.
We have newsletters?
Yes. So once you graduate, Kelly, they're going to add you to the email list. Anita has gone through VWise. Niyurka has gone through VWise. So they're already, you're a VWise graduate too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they're already getting those emails.
Okay.
But what happens if you don't have a mentor?
You're in trouble.
I know.
Are there any business counts? You can keep looking, like, since you're in Virginia, you should have SCORE, and maybe you might be able to find somebody there.
I haven't, like, so I have reached out to SCORE, but they haven't been able to really find anybody because I've got such a, I guess, odd profession.
You
You have an
can use-
Not
SBA
really.
out there?
Huh?
You have a small business association out there?
Yes. And I signed up for Mentor New York as well. I have not been able to find one.
Our Boots to Business?
What was that?
Boots to Business, that's where I started meeting everybody, was when I took my Boots to Business class.
Oh, I didn't take that class.
They start connecting you with all kinds of people when you go through that.
Okay.
When did you take it? There's two different, there was the old Boots of Business, and I think the newer one is mostly just online modules.
No, I took the one where we went to the class for a week. We went to UTSA and then to the, they had a couple different buildings that we went to on base, and they did a Boots to Business.
Okay.
Nicola, you can
Yep.
do ADP. I think it's called ADP. I did the mentoring for a year with them. I had a good mentor, and they really stay in touch. And it's part of the service that IBMF enroll you.
Say that
Oh,
again?
okay.
So they got one of the, you can look it up, but you already be wise. And it's in the mentors page. And is it ADP or ACP? One of the two.
It's ACP and SCORE. Okay, Lola put this in the chat. SCORE can find you a virtual mentor anywhere in the US. If you keep asking, like the SBDC, they might be able to refer you. The only issue is that they can't really refer you to a direct, they could refer you to a direct competitor, but there's probably not going to be a good mentorship there.
Right.
I had the same issue. It's very hard. It was very hard for them to match me with somebody in e-learning. So when I went to trade shows, people were indirect competitors were actually very generous, and they would share trade secrets with me. So the more networking you can do, the better.
That's what I'm finding is the networking has been really beneficial to me.
There you go.
And so
Yes. And what you'll find is your indirect competitors are the ones who are going to approach you, like, especially if you have a booth where you're just giving out information, because they'll want to partner with you because you offer something of value to them.
mhm.
Okay.
So I have a SCORE counselor, a PTAC, a SCORE mentor, a PTAC counselor. And the company that I worked for doing force protection and anti-terrorism, the owner himself, he has been mentoring me through the process, but he has done what I call a ghost type thing. And I asked him what was going on, and he said, I need for you to learn how to stand and to pull your business up on your own, Anita, instead of me giving you a great deal. When you do the research, you will find just how much further you are than what you think, because you'll know processes and procedures. So I just thought, okay, but still, but if you get it, but he told me, he said, what I need for you to do is get yourself established. If there is a small contract, I will assist you with winning this, because I went through and got my certifications for the service disabled veteran-owned small business and the woman-owned small business. So he was very instrumental in telling me to go to PTAC. He said, you need to get someone from PTAC to assist you. And I just thought, that's interesting for him to tell me he would be a competitor in force protection and anti-terrorism, but yet he's also willing to throw me. He said, I'm willing to assist you with trying to win a small contract until you get employees where you can have a bigger contract.
Yeah. And Anita, he can also, you could end up getting a contract as a woman-owned, veteran-owned business, and then bring him on board as a thank you. So that's perfect. So just keep networking. You don't know where it's going to lead. So Nicola,
Exactly.
you're doing a lot more than grant writing. So now you have other
do.
revenue drivers, and just research the customer personas for each of those different market segments, especially entrepreneurs. That'll give you a lot of information. All right.
Okay.
Your
Mhm.
rates will probably be pretty similar across the board.
Okay.
Very good. I appreciate all the sharing that went on tonight. It's amazing how we have these office hours and all the right people just come. Because everybody is somehow always has something to offer each other. So thank you, ladies. Is there anything else I can answer?
Thank you for your time tonight, Sandra. We do appreciate you doing this. Thank you.
Oh,
Yes.
it is my pleasure. This is you all are my affinity group.
peeps.
So
You stated you're going to send the sheets out that you were working on. You're going to email those to us?
yes,
Okay.
I'm going, as soon as I hang up here with you, I'm going to save it and I'm going to put it on Blackboard.
Okay.
So I don't mess up and forget to send it to somebody. Don't hesitate. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any other questions, but I really do appreciate all of you helping each other out. Okay. All right. Have
Yes.
a happy Thanksgiving, and I will
Same
see
to you.
all
Thank
you
you.
next
Good night,
week,
everyone.
All right,
okay,
everybody.
take
Thank you.
care. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.